What is up, guys? Joker here. I wanted to go ahead and make a video for you on the new survival RPG game that is Valheim. Valheim is a Viking based survival RPG sandbox game that released on Steam about 3 weeks ago as the release of this video, roughly, right? And I wanted to go ahead and make a video on it to kind of help show you guys some of the things that I honestly think are pretty amazing in the game. And I feel like this game has a lot of potential. You may have heard a lot about it already, but I feel like this game has a lot of potential to go ahead and be probably one of the best survival RPGs on the market, if not the best, if it keeps up the way it's going. So essentially what it is like I said multiple times, it's a survival RPG. So a gathering game where you balance your food and fighting skills while gathering materials to build a base and then essentially kill what I feel are demigods to earn your way into Valhalla, I assume, right? So what you do is you run around the world, you gather materials, you build weapons, you build bases, you build ships, Viking ships, and then you sell, you fight these gods, and you try to earn your way into Valhalla. Now, I wanted to highlight a couple of the features of the game that I am really impressed by and I really like for an early access game. Because honestly, I've seen some games that release it as their full release that don't have some things that are as cool as this. So the first thing that I wanted to go ahead and go over is the health and food system, right? When you spawn in, you're going to spawn in something like this. If you look at this bottom left hand corner, you're going to have this as a food bar and you're going to have this as an HP bar. So 25 HP and whatever that is of food. X this. This is what you get for defeating one of the demigods. It gives you a buff that you can activate, but ignore that for right now. So, it's going to be where you start with a base, food, and life pool, right? But when you go through the world, you gather different types of materials, and you have to eat a variety of different foods. It's going to increase your health and stamina by an amount according to what you ate. If you spend time to gather materials to cook a rarer meal, it's going to give you more stamina. Not only that, but it's going to give you more HP regen over time, which honestly, in my opinion, is amazing. 8 out of 10, right? It's unlike some survival games where you can just stack, I don't know, oh look, a berry, let me get 1,000 berries and let me continuously eat these berries. You have to eat a different type of food to fill each one of these slots to go ahead and pretty much maximize the benefits of eating. So it's kind of like balancing a diet, right? You're going to get different benefits from each type of thing. And there's a ton of things. There's vegetables, there's jams, there's soups. So let's see what you need as an example for a soup. If I went in here, I would need a mushroom and carrot soup, and it would give me way more stamina than it would health. So this would be more beneficial if I was going on a gathering trip compared to like a fighting trip, right? And that's one of the things I find amazing is the different foods give you different benefits that a lot of other games don't really promote for diversifying the food you eat in the survival game. It's, oh, well, yeah, this will give you more hunger, so you'll have to eat less of it, but that's pretty much it. This is more of a, okay, you're going to gain this much health, this much stamina, and it's going to last this long for this type of food. So, honestly, I'm a huge fan of that, as well as it has diminishing returns. So, as the food, as you can see, it has a duration on it. As the food expires, your health and stamina are going to slowly go down compared to some games where it's like, okay, you eat this, you have this buff for 30 minutes. This kind of shows you the urgency of gathering different types of materials and having them prepared for when you want to do something specific. You want to try to gather a lot of stuff, you probably want to make food that gives you a lot more stamina than it does health. You're going to go fight a boss, you're going to probably want to get a lot of materials that give you more healing per tick in case you get hit, right? So the way they did that and they balanced the food systems, in my opinion, is honestly amazing. I like I said, 8 out of 10. I really like the food system that they came up with, where it's kind of okay. Eating this food is going to give you this much health, this much stamina, and it's going to heal this much over time. So you kind of have to pick and choose what you want for what type of scenario, and that's awesome. The second thing that I wanted to go over is the skill progression, right? So it has a usage progression for skills. It's going to level up your abilities based on the type of utilization that you use, right? So if you use a lot of axes to fight, you're going to get damage with axes. As well as while you're wood cutting, you're going to go ahead and do more damage to trees with an axe. The more you jump, the higher you'll be able to jump. The more you use a bow, the more damage you'll use with a bow. The more you sneak, better, and so on, right? So, honestly, in my experience with RPGs, I prefer this system over a system of you get a skill point and you can allocate it into a random ability which you may not use. This promotes you using the type of item or weapon that you want to use, as well as exploring. As you can see, my running ability is 34, and it gives me more speed and less stamina drain while I'm running. So while I'm running, not only am I faster, I drain less stamina while doing it. So it promotes the fact that I've explored a lot. It promotes the fact that I've done a lot of running by allowing me to do more of it, which is always a favorite in progression systems, right? The third thing I wanted to go ahead and go over is the natural progression. So when you spawn into the world, you're going to go ahead and most likely just have your bare hand, and you're going to walk up to a tree and you're going to hit the tree, and you're going to get the wood, and you're going to use it to build a weapon. Now the first thing you're going to make, as you can see in this menu, is probably a club and a stone axe and a hammer, right? And as you can see, the axe doesn't work on rocks, which makes sense. You have to beat actually the first boss before you can mine rocks. The first boss is where you get a pickaxe, and then you're able to mine rocks. Which, honestly, it feels good to have that natural progression of, okay, I beat a boss, I get something where I can gather an item easier now. And that progression just continues. Right now I'm about 20 hours in, and I've used a lot of my time more as gathering materials than actually fighting the bosses, because I like to be over-prepared. So, you're going to get that progression where you feel, okay, I get a stronger axe, and I can actually demonstrate this. Let me go to a tree real quick. If I go to a tree over here, and I use, so the first item is going to be the stone axe, right? You hit a tree with a stone axe, it does 12 damage. The flint axe is going to be the next upgrade up from the stone axe, 22, and then the copper is going to be the next. So as you see, it does more damage as you progress through the tiers. So you're going to progress naturally faster as you get the upgrades. And that's something that in MMOs always feels better, right? Being able to gather those materials faster. And honestly, that's the second thing that I loved, is that the progression in the game actually feels not only natural, but it feels rewarding once you get that next tier of weapon or item. I can use this as an example, right? The first thing you get is wood, which would unlock a specific set of items for you to craft in your crafting table, which is over here. You'd get wood, and then you'd be able to unlock X amount. Once you upgrade, you would get fine wood, and you would unlock more features in your crafting table. As you get the better items, this as an example is technically right here because you can cut down core wood with a natural tree, but that would allow you to go ahead and build ships and so on, because it's a type of wood used for building ships. Which, I mean, come on, how can you say that? Oh my god, why is there so many of these things here right now? Hold up. um yeah, literally, why are these all in my... Oh, the forest is moving. What? Okay. Hold up. This is the first time this has happened. I guess I'm getting invaded by these things. Um, so, I guess there's different events that happen throughout time as well. Where mobs can invade your base. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's somewhat like a raid event. But yeah, and I guess that'll be something that I can promote as well. Is, come on, a survival game where different features happen. Is there, or are these just gonna spawn for X amount of time? But before I get distracted, yeah, the fact that you have to gather different type of materials and different type of food to promote different types of activities is something I'm a really big fan of, right? Is instead of just having to gather one type of item to pretty much get you through the entire game, you have to collect multiple things to... Oh my god, how long is this event gonna last, dude? You're going to have to go ahead and collect multiple types of items to help you through multiple types of situations for different things. And that's pretty awesome. The forest rest again. Okay, sweet. Let me kill the last few of these real quick. That was pretty dope. It was pretty much like a mini goblin raid. Because a lot of these don't spawn unless you're in Dark Forest, so it gives you a bunch of materials. That was pretty dope. Okay, but yeah. Oh, and this is an example. Hugin is going to be the crow that kind of monster lane siege, strength, build a strong defense to weather out the storm. So that's essentially telling me that raids are going to happen on my base by different types of monsters throughout time. Pretty dope, right? And I guess I can chalk that up to another thing that's pretty cool, is a lot of games don't randomly just throw, hey, survival wave at you in a survival game, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, as I was saying, so the leveling system I'd give an 8 out of 10 because it could be better. Like, you could get more benefits. This is technically from mining. I've never used a pickaxe as a weapon, but I don't get more damage to rocks like I do at woodcutting, so that's something they could add. They could add like a mining here to help me out. But 8 out of 10 because a lot of these promote the utilization of your skills, which I'm a big fan of. The progression system feels kind of fluid and natural. You gather the material you need to make the weapons you need to try to kill the stuff you need. You fill those increases, right? The food system feels good as you're able to kill stronger things and gather better resources. You're able to make more selective foods that give you better benefits. So that's a plus there. As you can see, there's a lot of NPCs in the world, and as you can see, there's armor progression too. I believe I have a lower tier here, which is going to be leather, which is what you get from killing deer. Once you upgrade a little, you get more specialized gear, which is like this troll hide, which gives me more ability when I'm sneaking. And then a little bit further, you'd get this bronze gear, which is going to be just overall more defense. Apparently that roof hole... Oh, wait, I think I clogged my roof hole because it was raining. No, I have a roof hole. But yeah. So the progression feels decent, and it's based off what you're doing and the type of stuff that you want to do. So that just feels amazing to me. The fact that there's different type of resources that you have to gather for different things, instead of just naming, okay, this is a tree, this is going to give me wood. This is a tree, this is going to give me wood. Those two trees are going to give me two different types of wood for different things. And that's just awesome. I love the fact where it's like, no, you can't just use wood for everything. You have to go find the different type of tree so you can use that different type of wood to build a different type of thing. That's how progression in RPG should be compared to some other games where it's just like wood. You use wood to build stuff made of wood. Like, that's always been stupid in my opinion. Is wood good for wood building? Yeah, no. Um, the fact that there's actually a reason to gather the different resources, I'm a huge fan. Once again, 8 out of 10, right? The combat system, I'd give 6, 7 out of 10. Like, it feels a little clunky at points, right? It could definitely be better, but I'm not going to complain. It's not as bad as it can be, but it's not as great as it can be. Like, with a bow, sometimes you'll aim at something directly and you'll still miss. But it does have benefits because it does have gravity drag. So, like, if you're trying to shoot something from a distance without it noticing, you just naturally aim that little bit above its head, so the gravity will be a headshot, right? So, I do like the fact that it has gravity drag in this, which, once again, a lot of games don't have. When you hit down something, you'll usually just stay stagnant. It might not even fall. The terrain destruction, awesome. I love when you're able to go ahead and format terrain to how you like. Once again, terrain destruction, I'd probably give a 7 out of 10 because it's not the greatest, but the fact that it's there is really cool. What else is there? The leveling system, I already said I liked. The gathering system, said I liked. The progression system, I said I liked. The combat system is eh. The only thing I would prefer is a bigger chest. I may not be at a point where I unlocked them yet, but right now you're kind of limited on storage, so especially with the amount of different stuff that you have to gather, like, give me a bigger spot to store it, please. And then with the skilling system, like, I like hate these a little bit better. Like, with the pickaxe, give me a mining skill so I do more damage to rocks with the pickaxe like I do with the wood cutting and the axe. But overall, it's a great game, right? It's something you can use a lot of amount of time with your friends and get really a good feeling about the progression you make, as well as have a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff is some of the stuff is grindy. A lot of the stuff is progression based. So if you get to a point where you're trying to find stones on the beach, it can be a little aggravating because for the first part, until you beat the first boss, you have to kind of just find stones on the beach before you can actually mine them, which is a little annoying. But hey, it's still a feature of it wants you to kill the first boss. It wants you to progress in the game to be able to do more, right? And I'm assuming once I kill the second boss and so on, I'll unlock more and more better tiers of items and better tier of gear. That's going to help me progress through the game. The food system and stamina system is pretty amazing just because it includes that diversity of, hey, you want to gather all these different types of resources. This type of food is going to benefit you this way. So instead of just gathering 100 berries or 100 pieces of meat, you gather 100 of a lot of different things to try to make different recipes to go ahead and benefit you in different ways. If you want to go on a gathering trip, you're going to want a lot of food that gives you more stamina than health regen, because you really don't need health regen if you're gathering items. So, once again, an amazing thing. Some of the features, like I said, can be better optimized. Like the combat system can feel a little clunky. The animations can feel a little clunky sometimes. But overall, I'd give it a total of 7.5, 8 out of 10. Just because of the fact that it is this good on pretty much an early access game, right? That's one thing that you have to remember is it's an early access game. So the developers pretty much essentially expect there to be bugs, and they need the help of the community to find the bugs, find the clunkiness, report it back to them, and give them something to work on. And I haven't seen a game this good in early access in a long while. So I have to give major props to the developers of Valheim because, in my opinion, it's pretty much the best survival game that's come out in years. With the diversity in it, the gathering, the progression, how it feels so good. If they keep this up, this is probably going to be one of, if not the best, survival RPG game on the market, So I do highly recommend buying it while it is on that lower value, because you look at something like Ark, right? Where it had its early access for $20, and now I think it's like 40 or $60 just for the base game, and then there's all the expansions, right? If this has the same type of progression and it's this good this early on, then you can only imagine what type of things they would implement. There's a lot of stuff that I can think of that would be implemented that would be amazing, but like uh like I may not be to it yet, but like a creature system where you like tame the deer and you tame the boar so you can farm them easier, because sometimes the spawns are very far and few between. Stuff like that, right? Because if you know anything about RPGs, is people like gathering pets. So if you could do that and add like other NPCs, right? Like wolves or dogs, because with it being Viking and Norse base, Odin had two wolves too, right? So like adding different pets that give different benefits, adding that type of system would be awesome. But like I said, 8 out of 10, Valheim is awesome. If this game continues to progress like this, it's going to be one of the best games on the market for a survival gathering RPG, in my opinion. If you were thinking about giving it a shot and not 100% sure, I'd say go ahead. It's $20. $20 isn't a lot nowadays. In the pandemic, it might be, but give it a shot. There's a 90% chance you're not gonna regret it if you love this type of game, especially with some of the things that I demonstrated: the skill system, the gathering system, the progression, where you feel that benefits of going through the game. Honestly, I recommend it. And once again, coming from a person that's like not sponsored, so I don't have to say it's the most amazing game in the world. Like some people who make sponsored videos, they're kind of low-key obligated to say that it's better even if they don't feel that way. No, I honestly feel like it has the ability where it can become the best game as long as the devs keep it up. Like they've done an amazing job on this game with the diversity and what you can do in it. So if they keep this up, this is going to be one of the biggest survival RPG games on the market. And I hope they do, because it has so much potential along with what it already has to be that good. Alright, since this video already has been super long, I am going to go ahead and end it here. Down in the comments, leave any comments or suggestions that you feel about Valheim, like things that you may like that I may have missed, or things that you may like that I may have missed, so we can go ahead and get that conversation. Hopefully get a little bit of attention, see if they'd be willing to address those subjects, maybe fix them or make them a little bit better. But yeah, leave comments down in the comments about all those features, any ideas, as well as that communication. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I may make more Valheim videos as I progress, may not. It depends on how much I feel like an additional video is needed or see a necessity for what I want to bring. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time.